stress-free, leave your kids at home. Leave your kids at home. Do your two-step, get your groove on. This is feel good music, you can move on. Relax, stress-free, leave your kids at home. Leave your kids at home.
Yeah. You know what time it is, everybody. It is 8:30 on Tuesday night, and we are here with my favorite person to grill, chill, or kill with. And, coming to you from the solar-powered studios here in Jacksonville, Florida. How you doing, Laura? You doing all right?
I am doing okay. Feeling a little old.
Well,
It's okay.
now, see, you teed me up right there, but I'm not going to do it to my sister. It's too early in the show for that. Too early for that. It's too early for that. Not doing that. We'll save that for Rick or somebody. But folks, I'm glad you're here on a Tuesday, just hanging out, doing what we do every Tuesday. A little socializing, a little fun. If I'm gonna do my best for not to teach you anything, but invariably, when you have so smart, wonderful, smart people on the program, you end up learning something. So, in any event, we will get right to it. See who's in the room. Our friend Don is here. Good to see you, Don. Marla Kelly, welcome, beloved.
Yep.
Quack Quack Heart Attack is with us. Everybody's favorite Mopar man, Jiffy. Hello there, beloved. Hi, Russ. Still not working those. I think she meant tables. Glad to be here. I really do like you. Well, I like you too, and I'm so glad you're here. And I'm gonna leave you alone. I think I might have hurt you. I think I might have insulted you with the table thing. Just jokes. I'm a big old clown. I got no sense. Look at me. Can't you tell I got problems? Can't you see I have problems? Okay, it's like my problems have issues. Okay, so I can't, I don't even remember. I smoked so much bad weed. I can't even remember half the stuff I say. I'm just telling you, I smoked a lot of janky weed in my day. So, our man Bruce is here. He's probably yawning right now, but good to see you, my brother. Glad you are here. Who says Jimmy is still? I guess I was hard of reading. So she had to, again, I don't know. Maybe StreamYard is flaking out. But I'm glad you're here, Jiffy, and I hope I can make you smile and laugh. And anything I say, please don't take it too seriously, because I really, I don't get enough fat in my diet. My mind is all messed up. It's just, Yes, I said that specifically for Laura. Oh, I forgot to put the link in the chat here. What is wrong with me? So I was just about to say, as always, if you want to come in and hang out with us, the link is in the chat, but it's not. But it will be in 3, 2, 1. The magic of StreamYard. Sorry about that. But yes, Jeffrey says, we are good, Russ. Oh, well, I'm so glad. And if you're ever in the area, you come and let me put them paws on you. I will hug you like I love you. So that's how I roll. I do love you. We're family here. So in any event, I don't know how many basketball fans we had. I don't know. Did you happen to see the game last night? Madam Sports fans sometimes.
It's not sometimes. I just like to listen. Or if I'm running on the treadmill, I will have a game on, usually football. I'm really a football person, but I will watch that. I watched the Duke and the Houston game, but
that game was crazy.
Yeah, I watched, and that I was like, man. And the Florida game, I did not get to watch. I was out doing stuff for my birthday, so I didn't really watch that, but I did hear about it. And a lot of people around here, even though I'm in the middle of Illinois, love the Florida Gators. So I heard all about it. But it sounds like it must have been a pretty close game. So
well, yeah, if you saw the Duke Houston game, you saw the Houston Florida game, except Houston came out on the losing end of that one. And speaking of the losing end, look who it is, everybody.
Hey.
You see what I did there? You like that?
And
I'm a,
yeah, man, I feel the love here, Russ.
listen, I'm a highly trained professional, brother. I'm smooth with it. You gotta watch me. You gotta watch me on that. But
Yeah, no.
to finish up there, I know. I don't know if Bruce is a basketball fan or a Houston fan or whatnot. I don't know if you're watching that, but it was your birthday. How
Well, we will not talk about Houston versus Florida now. Yeah, no.
So it was your birthday Monday?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. Yesterday, 54.
look at that. You don't look a day
Yeah.
over 53. How about
Well,
that?
happy birthday, Laura.
54.
But
Man, you got hey, listen, you got girdles older than that. I know you got I'm kidding. When I was doing comedy, like we would do that kind of stuff all the time because they give us a list of birthdays and have us make fun of them people, and that was one of my classic lines. Oh, you got girdles older than that. Or here's my other one. If they were a good sport, I'm like, well, you might be 54, but that crow's foot is 59. I'd hit them with something like
yeah,
that.
this is
Yeah,
true.
some people took it well, some people didn't. That's kind of how it was in the comedy game. It's like after the show, it's like people like you would have no idea whether they want to. A lot of people love it though. It's like they come to the comedy show and they sitting in the front because they want you to pick on them, whatever. Other people just happen to be there, and so maybe they've never been to a comedy club before, whatever. They don't realize that just like if you sit right here in the front, you're probably gonna get it. So yeah, after the show, some people were happy about it, and other people were disgruntled. So,
They
yeah,
were too in touch with their feelings.
yeah, or you go a little too
Dis
far. I've been known to do that a time
disgruntled?
or two.
No.
Because if
Not
the
not
audience,
not against you, Russ.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, imagine that. Well, see,
Yeah,
here's the
really.
thing about it. It's like you're in a catch-22 because if the audience is really laughing, if it's like the funnier it is and the more the audience is laughing, the less the people like it if they're the butt of the joke. It's like they don't
Well,
mind
yeah.
a little bit of laughing, but if it gets too much in this shit, then now they're starting to get, now hold on a minute. Now those jokes are too funny, It's like, so you have to walk the tightrope where it's like you can't you make people laugh too much at them, otherwise you might have to be the escort to the car.
Best comedy shows I've ever gone to have always been ones where you can't actually laughing so hard you can't breathe. It's
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
that good.
I like to get them to spit them drinks if I can. That's like if I can get
I
folks to
bet you do.
spit a drink out. I was okay. I was, I have some footage on my Facebook page of some old comedy shows I did, but I got a couple of laughs. So let's see here. So we got Tall Cedars in the building there. Good to see you. Appreciate you. It says hello. Will be lurking. I love that. Karen,
Love
good to
that.
see you, beloved. Glad you are here tonight. Cat Diamond says happy birthday, Lord. Yes, everybody wish my
Thank you.
beloved sister Laura a happy belated birthday. Papa's here. My man Pete. Good to see you, brother. Carnivore kept 2 weeks in a row. Roll Tide. Yeah, roll Tide and take the Seminoles with you and the Hurricanes and all of them. Just roll on. Hey, that's actually it's funny, brother, because I thought about you this year. Alabama, they had a hard time. The Tide was at a standstill, man, especially against Vanderbilt this year. So, but yeah, they'll come back. They'll bounce back. Jiffy is yes. Jiffy says she was so sad for you. Uh,
Yeah.
yes. I have to say, I did. I like to see Kelvin Sampson get one there. That'd have been all right.
They
Kelvin,
they were definitely the underdogs, from what I understood. That
yeah.
nobody expected them to get as far as they did. So
Well,
there's
they were a
that.
one. No, they were a 1 seed, so they were definitely one of the best team, one of the top 4 teams in there. But I do think they were a slight underdog, though, to Florida. I do think so. The betting line, but yeah, it was just crazy. But it's crazy how the games were similar. It's like Duke was up a bunch in the fourth quarter, and this next thing you know, one thing leads to another, and you look up at the scoreboard and you're not winning, and the game's
Right.
over. And it's the exact same thing happened to Houston. It's like they were up, dominated the game really. Next thing you know, when the buzzer sounds, they lost. It was crazy. And even the coach just sat there. Like when the game was over, he just sat there, just like stared into space, like, I can't believe what I just saw. So yeah. Cat Diamond says hello and happy birthday to Laura. And let's see here. Yes, Conor Kip says happy birthday. And Josephine's in the building. Good to see you, Josephine. She said hi to Bruce. He's like, all the rest of
she
you.
did say
Hey,
hi, Laura.
Josephine.
Yeah, she said all the
She
rest of
did
you.
say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look,
She
and
was
listen,
like,
she says hi. And
like
listen, she
Bruce.
said hi to Bruce.
See, and she
then asked
said
where
it
is Rick.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
she
then
has-
asked for Rick. We must. I'm just
Yeah,
seeing if I
man.
stunk.
Man, boy,
Yeah,
Josephine,
right.
you really know how to hurt people's feelings, man.
Oh, if I only had it too.
tonight. That's all
Darn.
right, beloved. We can take it. We dish it out. We'll take some. No problem. There you go. Heart attack burgers over at the there we go. We shamed her into that. See, now she said beautiful
like,
people. So she
fine.
could have been talking about me.
She's
So
still
that-
talking about me.
Yeah. There you go. What's going on? Yeah, my man Chance is here. Arg, brother. Arg, I see you. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm sure. I know. Were you watching the game there, Chance? Did you catch any of that? I don't know if you're a basketball fan. And a lot of folks. What about you, Pete? I don't know if you were watching it. Anybody have any wagers
I'm a
on the
Cubs
game?
fan.
Oh, well, you got a lot of patience then, I'd say.
A lot. Hey,
You know?
2016 finally, but yes. So we used to go to Chicago every year a couple times and go to the games until it got to the point where we're not allowed to carry, but the people that want to rob you can carry guns. And I was like, that's it, I'm done. So yeah, we had that
So
happen
is it-
twice. They didn't
is
come
it a
after us, I
city
think, because
city thing or a
I
state
look
thing?
evil.
Is that a
Huh?
city thing or a state thing? Like, is it a
It's
statewide?
a city. No, it's in
Oh,
Chicago. No, because I have concealed carry that I can do everywhere else. It's just inside Chicago. That's one of the
okay. So
laws
how
that they
can you
have.
have a license in a state, but the city says no, you can't? How does that work?
I guess it's
Well,
how
we
the
have
laws are
Mr.
written.
Pritzker. Well, actually, state law should supersede city,
Yeah, that's what I
and
mean. It's a
federal law
state license.
supersedes state. But
Exactly.
you can't get that through JB Pritzker's lunch
Yeah,
break.
and then the thing about it is, if you get in trouble, then and fighting it is,
Yeah.
one of those things.
Yep.
So
So we'll just wait
Well,
till it gets a little better, and then we'll go back.
yes, semi-retired Bob is out there. I was
Oh,
watching him
wow. Bob's
the other
here.
day walking in the cold weather. And it says, I can't
I've
believe I
lost
was
track
not
of Bob.
subscribed to you,
Is he in
Buck.
Texas or is he still?
I'm sorry, I was just reading there. Go ahead, Bruce. What were you saying?
I'm sorry about that, Russ. I didn't mean
No.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh,
I've lost track of Bob. Is he in Texas or is he still up east?
I don't think so, because where he was walking, he definitely was not off the grid.
Wasn't in the desert, huh?
Yeah, every so often Bob will pop in and grace us with his off-grid presence. So maybe you'll talk him up. In the meantime, Josephine says, I can't believe I was not subscribed to you, Buck. I just thought he lives only with. Yes, I don't blame you for not subscribing there, Josephine. The millions have not. And speaking of subscribe, my main man Dustin sends a super chat in there. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. He says, we're out to dinner. Just wanted to send some love. Well, that is love indeed. And it's good to hear from you, man. I need to catch up with you. I haven't talked to you in a while. See how you and the lovely wife are doing. Hopefully you're out somewhere. Well, no, in your neck of the woods, you can't get picanha. But I was going to say, hopefully you're out there where you can, get you some Ribeye or something there.
Ribeye.
Shannon says, family full of cops. I carry on officially. Yes, yeah, that means he's,
I did too.
yeah, that means he just got out the joint and he's convicted felon. All right, brother. You'll get back on.
Nobody'll ever know.
I carry on officially. Yeah, I know what that means, brother. I know what that means. Yeah, okay. Hide your kids, hide your wife. And so you go. So retired Bob says desert this fall in Omaha for mini golf season. Yes, he is
Got it.
Nice.
doing his obligations there for his community at the mini golf. Yes, it says if you watch Bob's videos, he explains where he is and what his plans are. Yes, that is true. Check out my Buckeye brother, semi-retired Bob, over at his channel there. Great guy, great story. And he likes the Buckeyes. So I mean, come on. What more can you ask for a guy? More chances. Yeah. I'm glad you could take a joke, man. Otherwise, if I run when I see you coming, brother. If he gets to that, Bob inspires me to get up and walk. Yes, Bob inspires us all to do things.
He does.
He has not inspired me to move out into the middle of nowhere, but one thing at a time. We'll start
Baby steps.
Yes, we'll start out with baby steps. So you're not with us always all the time. Let's talk to Bruce. What is new in your life there, Bruce? What is going on? Other than the fact that you'd rather be with Christy and the lionesses, but
Well, yeah, Russ, they're definitely prettier than you. I can't say the same thing for Laura, but
Thank you.
They're easier on the eyes.
I'll say it. We're far enough into the show where I can start insulting her now. So.
Right?
We have a 20-minute 20-minute truce period, and then it's
all's fair in love and war.
Yeah.
For some reason, they decided not to have a show tonight, so I figured I'd come knock your show down a bit,
Well, I'm glad that. So I won't talk. So are you? I don't know this about you. Are you a sports fan? Are you just a kind of a general Texas fan, or are you really like a Houston fan, like Astros and all that stuff?
Not really.
Gotcha.
The only sport I really follow is sailing. So if we want to talk about the
America's Cup or something,
the America's Cup or the Vindy National or
nice.
the Vindy Globals, then we can. Then that's kind of more my speed. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I only know about the. I only know about what happened with the Cougars just because everybody's talking about it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and everybody's talking around here, but I'm not from here, so I have no allegiance to the Gator crowd there. Jacksonville is kind of split down the middle. You got Gators and Seminoles here. Half the people like Florida State and half the people like Florida. So, but they all rally around, whenever they're making national championships. So even the Florida State people were happy. So everybody's happy around here. But I'm a Buckeye. I'm happy that, I have to say, I mean, I was rooting for Houston. Kelvin Sampson would have been the oldest coach ever to win at 69. And he has been a good coach for so long and made so many Final Fours and just can't get over the hump. So I was kind of rooting for him. The other guy's in his third year. He looks like one of the players. Like after the game when they were like celebrating, he had his shirt on. Like, which one is the coach? It's like I don't even know. So
you got to be.
yeah.
I don't know how many bones were on your plate. Getting them and carrying them
down, but he didn't get it. You can listen to
How many
them.
were on there?
There weren't very many.
So Bob says,
I have no idea. I didn't count them.
I am.
Yeah, he was picking up.
Although that could have been fun. Listen, I could have probably done 20 minutes on that. But that probably,
I
I didn't.
know. Somebody said trouble for all them bones on their plate. That would sounds like my husband with me.
I
Like,
was
how
gonna
many
say,
did you
look,
eat?
I was just waiting for the frying pan to the dome sound. I was like, "Ding!"
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was waiting for
The
that.
state of Iowa is right next door to us, and they have open carry. I
Yeah.
would love to be over there, but I'm stuck here.
Yes. I think I don't know. Ohio, I think had open carry. They might have changed it. Um, I remember that because I used to drive a cab. I drove a cab night shift for 7 years in Columbus, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And right at 5th and the freeway, 5th and 71, there used to be a Shell gas station. I don't know if there still is one there or not. I don't know. But there was a guy that worked in the Shell gas station that had a 9 millimeter pistol on a chain around his neck.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was real. So it wasn't
Yeah,
a
but not
prop.
a very accurate gun.
Yeah, so
Right.
They're not very accurate.
The Glock 19 is not accurate? That's what all
Oh,
the
I thought you
cops
said
say.
9. I thought you said 9 millimeter.
Well, Glock 19 is a 9 millimeter.
Well, they're not very accurate, not compared to a AR.
A sniper rifle? Well, come on. Okay, what pistol
What?
is
I doubt he would have had that on a chain around his neck.
It's a
Yeah,
little
I
heavy.
guess he wanted to be
It's a
able
little.
to just like, hey, if we put his hands up, it's just I don't know, rather than a holster.
Probably
I
true.
guess maybe if he just figured if you saw it, you know, he
Yeah.
would know he's not going to be far enough away from you to shoot you if you're robbing the gas station, you know.
Right.
True.
But yes, but I think they still have open carry there. I don't know for sure. They don't in Florida. They have concealed carry. I have a concealed carry,
Mhm.
but you can't carry open.
We've got open carry in Texas, so yeah. What first time I saw somebody packing in a grocery store, I had to do a double take.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
Something says, "Hi, Russ, Laura, and Bruce." Now I know what Bruce looks like. There you go. That's exactly right. Hey, look, and if just in case you're not sure, we will give him
Sorry
his
There
to
you go.
disappoint.
own time. That's right. This handsome guy right here is our man Bruce. Our brother is with us, hanging out with us today. I love that. So there you
He's
go.
got the
So,
pageant wave down. That's good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, hey, listen, we will not have an evening gown competition. Don't worry about it, brother. We won't do that. We won't do that to you. We won't do
What
that to
about a swimsuit competition?
you. Hey, yes, that's right. Yes, for the talent portion, he's going to snort bacon grease right off.
Hey, that's my best trick. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's gonna snort bacon grease to the tune of "For He's a Jolly Good Fellow." That's right.
Mm.
There you go. So,
No,
oh.
it's gonna be yo ho ho. Remember, I'm a sailor.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
yes. Rick says duck fighting is not a sport, sadly. Listen,
Not yet.
yeah,
He can make
uh,
it one.
yeah, I ain't fighting no birds nowhere. Yeah, don't ask me why I ain't doing that no more.
Yeah,
So,
Rick learned the hard way not to do that on YouTube.
yeah. So here, so I watched you chase duck in your yeah, duck chase. He chases him with a guillotine. That's how that works. Paul says, "Hey, Russ and Cookout gang, glad you're here, Paul. Good to see you, brother." Papa says he got pastured eggs at Aldi and ate them today. Pretty good. They were 50 cents more than the white eggs.
It's worth it.
That's that. Yeah,
50 cents a dozen or 50 cents an egg? I
yeah.
guess 50 cents a dozen.
Let's hope so. I got my blue eggs in there. You know, I tell you, Costco has been having trouble keeping those in stock. The blue eggs. It's like half the time they're in stock and half the time they're not. I don't know what it is with the blue eggs. But I'd say about every other time I go, they don't have them. And so this last time they did, I got a little bit extra. I don't eat too many eggs. I make my waffle bread with my eggs more than I eat them. But let's see here. We got anybody? I think we got Bill Cook says, "Hey, good to see you, Bill. Glad you are here." Rick says, "Anyone remember when we had toy guns that shot plastic bullets?"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My nephew had a
Absolutely.
Nerf gun that did that. Yeah, those were the days. Now, I'm sure there's somebody out there against it.
I'm sure.
They got free range eggs over the weekend. Now, where did you get those? Did you steal those there, Rick? Did you hijack somebody's?
Did you buy them?
He was down in the canal raiding duck nests. He put on a big duck suit and quacked, and when they left the nest, he'd go in there and fight for the eggs with everything else. Yeah, Papa says 50 cents more a dozen. Jeffrey says blue eggs are very
Too
good.
bad.
Now you're up in Georgia, right? Do you get yours from Costco, Jiffy, or do they say? I've never seen blue eggs anywhere else than Costco.
My daughter has blue eggs.
But I mean, like for sale. Have you ever seen them?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen them in the store, but I haven't. I
Yeah.
wouldn't buy store-bought eggs anyway because I have enough people around here that do, the old style. But she'll have green, yellow, white, brown, blue,
Yeah.
not every color.
Mhm.
Just change up what they feed them.
Some of us don't live on the range.
I live out in the middle of nowhere.
That's what I mean. So, it's like, oh, I don't buy eggs. All my neighbors have chickens. Yeah, that's not the case for everybody. And speaking of all my neighbors have chickens, look who it is, everybody.
There he is.
Let me rephrase that. All my future neighbors will have chickens. How about that? I don't know if there's any chicken folks at the mini golf fair. I don't know if you get anybody trying to pay with eggs when they come to do their mini golf.
No, not yet anyway.
Yeah.
I had to stop in because we were chatting, and there's two people
I
I
love
haven't actually met yet in your chat with you today, so I had to stop in and say hello.
I love that, and I'm so glad you did. But I always love when you come in here and say, "Hey, I was watching you walk and talk with my dad the other day." If you can believe that, my dad's been here for a few days. He's actually sitting over there in a chair, nodded off, as is his custom. And so we were watching some retired Bob walking and talking up the street there. So I'm glad you're here. So you don't know Bruce and Laura? Is that what you're saying?
I do not.
Really? I can't believe that. Bob has been around in these YouTube streets for quite a little while. He's actually one of the first people I ever went on, because when I joined Dr. Barry's group, my name, of course, is Homesick Buckeye, and I can't remember one of the coaches. I can't remember which one it was, said, "Oh, you got to meet semi-retired Bob." And I'm like, because? And like, "Oh, he's a Buckeye just like you." And I'm like, "Oh, well, and he's part of the tribe." I'm like, "Oh, well, then there's two reasons to meet."
Yeah, no, there ain't no Buckeyes like me. You're close, Rick, but
hey,
ain't no Buckeyes like me. I got 96 first cousins, and 95 of them went to Ohio State.
Yes.
My dad played football for Ohio State.
Yeah. No,
now, granted, that was before Woody Hayes was the coach, so it was a couple of years
Paul
ago.
Brown was the coach?
I don't know.
I think Paul Brown was the coach before Woody Hayes, or one of
them. It might have been Paul Brown. All I know is that he quit playing football to concentrate on law school because football players didn't make any money.
Oh. Well, they do now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out of East High School in Columbus. Yeah. With a couple of guys you may have heard of that also came to the Buckeyes that year. You may or may not have heard of John Two Toilet Standard. Of course, his name was John Standard, so his nickname was Two Toilet.
Okay.
And his other classmate at East High School was a one Mr. Cassidy, who became known as Hopalong.
Hopalong, yeah. And I think, you know what? I think Archie Griffin played for Whitehall, I think, didn't he? But he started out at East High School, I think, and ended up at Whitehall.
Yeah, that was several decades later.
Yes. So this segment has been brought to you by the Ohio State University.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll conclude the Buckeyes segment. And if anybody has a question, an off-grid question for our guy, because people always want to know where you're at and what you're doing, and when you're going to be home on the range.
Yeah, when I got back from Texas this last trip, I got my trailer unloaded while it was still hooked up to the truck. And I've been waiting for everything to finish thawing now because I didn't get around to putting the back legs down on the trailer. And it's unhooked from the truck. So if I try to open up the back door, the trailer will tip up and I won't be able to. Mm-hmm. So I have to wait for everything to be nice enough that I can get down on my knees and put the trailer legs down, and then I can start reloading things and getting ready to go again, which will happen. I'm hoping to get out of town earlier this year because I didn't get out of town until the middle of October this year, and I'm hoping to get out of here pretty much as soon as school starts, right about the end of August, 1st of September, because I was hanging out because Dave needed me, but we got another gal that we hired this last year who has proven she learned her lessons well and managed to run the place by herself a couple of shifts last fall. So she should be ready to go for the fall this year. So once the busy section of the season is over, I got to get down to that chunk of land you see behind me because I have a lot of work to get done. I'm a whole year behind now.
And Bill Cook, of course, asked the question, where does Bob live? And that answer that is Omaha, Nebraska right now. But before
Omaha, Nebraska. That yellow square of land you see behind me, the closest town is Terlingua, Texas, which puts me I'm less than 5 miles from the back entrance to Big Bend National Park.
There you go. And so if you can see that, Bill, you can see Bob's future home there. And the yellow outline where somebody was killed. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a yellow tape. Nobody died there. Nobody died there.
They'll never know.
Yes, that is precisely why Bob is moving there.
I got 10 acres to bury bodies on.
Yes, that's right.
Perfect.
And it'll be good for the land. You know, nothing regenerates desert like decaying corpses.
Yeah, I was going to say the land or the sand. I don't know. So, Nene is here. Hello, Renee. Beloved, it is wonderful to see you.
Hey, Renee.
You're here. And Bill Cook says, fun fact, Ohio River belongs to Kentucky. There you have it. I think it belongs to everyone. So,
from the pictures I've seen, it belongs to a lot of extra real estate right now because that thing looks like it's flooded pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure.
Heard that. Yeah.
I know they want it right now. They're like, somebody else can have it for a little while anyway. All right. So what's new with you, Bob, on your channel? Anything, any exciting interviews or anything like that coming up, or any
well, tomorrow's video, I'm actually a little tired tonight because it hasn't been announced yet. Well, it was announced in the video that came out today, and my new walking challenge started.
All right.
It starts tomorrow, but I did tomorrow's video today, so I'm walking bigger distances and keeping track of times to see how much time I can gain over a certain amount of distance over the course of 30 days, and 31 days. And that's leading up to, because my 3-year carnivore anniversary is on the 9th of May. My 62nd birthday is on the 10th, but I've moved my live streams to Sundays. So on Sunday, the 11th, I'm going to have a special 2-hour live stream. Rick, Charger Mopar, is going to be one of the guests. Dave Mack is going to be one of my guests, and a couple of others that I will not mention until they are actually confirmed.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, I'm glad that you made it another year. I think I can speak for everyone when I say I'm glad you made another year. And
nobody's more glad they made it another year than I am.
Let's take a wager on that.
Where do you think you'd be, Bob, if you hadn't gone carnivore?
I wouldn't be if I hadn't gone carnivore. I wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
I had it's been a little over 7 years now since my triple bypass surgery, and I was slowly sliding downhill after that. But then I found carnivore. I mean, when I got out of the hospital from my triple bypass surgery, my ejection fraction was 37, which is just seven points above heart failure range. And the last check, I was at just under 60.
Perfect.
And my CAC score has gone down year over year, because obviously I have a really big CAC number, having had a triple bypass surgery. And normally, once you have heart disease, your CAC score will go up by about 10% every year until you need another bypass surgery. So any drop in the CAC number is magnified by the fact that it did not go up that 10% also.
Cool.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I think so too. I mean, everyone in my immediate family has had a heart attack, stroke, or heart procedure, and I'm the oldest and fattest of them all. And knock on wood,
that doesn't. But just like I said, yeah, I know. I mean, the average person thinks that, but like when I worked in open heart and the cath lab, that wasn't generally true. I mean, you'd have the occasional, but it was usually your skinny fat. In fact, Bob, I actually sent somebody to your page because I've watched you for quite a while. I just have been sitting in the background watching Creeper. And but I have I had an open heart patient that I opened up Friday, and opened up for home health. And I was like, oh, you really should do carnivore. And his eyes got this big. His wife is like, are you trying to kill him? And I was like, no. Let me explain. Let me send you to some of these people's pages. It's the same thing I do with patients when I get them and they have like IBS or ulcerative colitis. And I send them to Lee's channel, Kent Carnivore. I'm like, you need to hear it from somebody who's lived it. So yeah, I've sent some people your direction. I'm like, go watch what he's come from and like what has happened with his health by doing this. So yep, you're inspiring people even if you didn't know that I was sending people there.
That's right, man. You hear somebody out there in the bushes.
It's me.
Yes, that's Bob has an awesome story, and I don't think I'd be alive if I hadn't changed up. It's like I still got my issues, and I'm still on the path, but I definitely think it would have been I'd have been close. That's for sure. Simpson says, Laura, are you still fasting?
I am. I think this is day 3, day 4. I'm not even sure. Yeah.
Now, is this a wet fast, a dry fast? What kind of thing? What are you doing?
Water and salt. And in the morning, I do have half a cup of coffee with half a cup of water and my iodine. Otherwise, that's it. And I did that since Thursday night, Friday night, because we went out to eat for my birthday, and the place we went, I take my own butter. And the last time we went there, they used the butter, cooked my steak, and had no issues. This time, they acted kind of weird when I gave it to them, and I was like, they're probably not going to use that. And as soon as I start eating, the roof of my mouth started to itch because I react to seed oils extreme. And then I just felt like crap. And I called them out and they were like, oh, yeah, we forgot. And they handed me, my container
Yeah.
back. And I was like, that's a shame because I am a very, very good tipper. But
Yeah.
that did not happen. So, yeah. So that's why I decided to fast until I really feel like I'm back without all those issues that I get with the seed oil. So, and I won't go back to the place. So, and
Yeah.
that's a carnivore. We do spend a lot of money on the meats in these places. So,
Yeah. I don't
too bad.
know how that works though from a health from like a health somebody may know like
Oh,
from
yeah.
like if people bring their own stuff into a restaurant that
Yeah.
and they put it on their grill or whatever, is it potentially a problem? I'm just guessing what they would, how the world is today. Everybody's afraid of getting
Yeah.
sued or whatnot.
Well,
So you
I
can't
did
bring
talk
your
to
own
the
food in
manager.
here. Yeah.
I talked to the manager today because I've been there probably 7 times over the last 2 years
Yeah.
because it's a medical themed place. It's called
Sure.
Dr. Getwell's. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and he was like, I said, was there an issue with using my butter? I mean, it was still in the wrapper, so it's not, And he said, nope. And he says, we clean off the grill for our vegans who don't want
Right.
their stuff cooked with your. And
Yeah.
he says, there's times that they'll bring like bok choy. I don't even know what the hell bok choy is, but they'll bring in bok choy and something else of their own and they cook it. So he says that's not the issue. And I was like, okay. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I said,
I got
I don't have anaphylactic reaction, but it makes you feel miserable for 3 days. So that's why we don't go out to eat. Like I just prefer to cook my
yeah.
food here. And plus I can eat all of my ribeye fat.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, it's a lesson we all have to learn the hard way. I mean, I'm coming up on the 3 year mark now, and I have eaten not at home 3 times, and I
Wow.
have gotten sick 3 times.
yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I just passed 6 years in February of doing carnivore, so and I'm also very frugal, so I don't like to spend the kind of money to go out to eat when you could take that money and buy a whole ribeye. I'm like, I'll just go buy the whole ribeye and do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Simpson John says, I would love to hear Bruce's story. Trust me, Simpson, you will not.
I
I'm
actually agree
just
with you,
kidding.
Russ.
I'm just kidding. Come on, you guys know I'm a big old clown. That's how we roll here. Go ahead there, Bruce. Tell them all about yourself.
I actually tend to agree that there's really not much to it. It is strangely enough, it all had to do with my cholesterol. I was about 50 pounds overweight, and well, long before that, about 10 years or so ago, I was at a doctor, and he told me that he wanted me to lower my cholesterol and wanted to put me on statin. I said, well, look, I'd rather try diet and exercise. Or no, he came up. He gave this sly comment, unless you'd like to try diet and exercise. And so I said, yeah, let me try diet and exercise. What do you recommend? And he said, well, and he wasn't prepared for the question. So he said, well,
Mhm.
a lot of our patients, they get a lot of luck on fish oil. I'm like, okay, I've heard about that. Listen to the radio programs on that,
Mhm.
and uh, so I went and I got myself a bottle of quality fish oil, and I took that daily. I was exercising in the on the exercise cycle religiously, at least three to
Yeah.
five times a week. I was eating as lean as I could. I was trying
Mm.
to cut back and get uh, 3 months later. I went back and he said, "Well, no," he said, "your cholesterol went down 5 points. It's not enough. Here's your prescription for statins." Threw the statins away and I never went back to him. 5 years later, I went to go work. I went to go with my wife. Finally conned me into going to see another doctor, and yeah, it was 5 years between my checkups, and so I went to go see him, and I told him up front. I said, "Look," I said, last time I was at a doctor, and he tried to sell me these statins. I'm not interested in going on artificial drugs, and and I told him about the whole story where with the there's hundreds of diets out there. There's lots of exercise regimens. Saying diet and exercise is kind of a useless thing to say. So I challenged him when he did the blood test and he came back and yeah, sure, your cholesterol's too high. I challenged him. Okay, what diet do you want me to try? He said, why don't you try Atkins? So I did, and I did. I researched it very carefully, and I did a lot. It was more keto than it was than it was Atkins. What I ended up with, and I ended up losing about 40 pounds on Atkins. But then after I got and then we did another blood test, my actually cholesterol had gone up again. So that didn't help. About a year later, my wife introduced me to Michaela Peterson, and even today, my wife, who is not carnivore, she is very. She regrets introducing me to her, and but after that, I discovered her and discovered Dr. Barry and Dr. Baker and a lot of other medical
history
related. And I learned about. And by the way, during that time, I gained about half of that weight back. Gained back 20 pounds. So then I went on to carnivore, lost another 30 pounds. Cholesterol is now in the 400 or 500 range, total cholesterol.
Yeah, we gotta get it up to 1,000, man. We want cholesterol to 1,000. That's what
I know. My doctor took a look at that. He says he shook his head and he looked at his watch. It's like, okay, your heart attack is due in
you'll outlive your doctor.
Exactly. He's got to get with the program. Those, some folks are living on old data. We know that folks with high cholesterol live longer. I mean, we've seen the studies on that, have better immune systems. I mean, cholesterol
especially the LDL.
Yep. And just ask him, why is my liver trying to poison me? He may not even know it comes from your liver. I don't know.
It is a little bit scary, though. If everything in our society. Oh, hey. Yes, I was introducing Rick. That's it.
There's my brother from another mother.
Yeah, so listen. Hey, so what else is okay? So we know this version is scary. What were you going to say is scary?
Well, what's scary is I know that everything we've learned in the carnivore community, everything we've discussed, that high cholesterol is not a problem. That it's the high sugar that really causes atherosclerosis. But everything in our society, everything we read, everything we see is geared toward. You have high cholesterol, you are headed right for a heart attack.
Listen, my dad is here. My dad is 83 years young, doing pretty well, and we have this conversation all the time. He is he believes in the power of vegetables. And that's all right.
I do too for medicine.
Yeah, and he just it's hard to unlearn things you've learned your whole life. I do it every day, and I still sometimes think, this can't be. This can't be.
Well, I mean, it's nice on an academic level, but this isn't academics for me. This is my life.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it.
What are your triglycerides, Bruce?
They're in the. I'm gonna have to remember this. I think they're like upper 70s. And my wait, triglycerides. Yeah, they're in the upper 70s, and I've got like 65 in my HDL.
HDL, yeah. So and I would venture to say, and this is just a guess, that you could potentially be what they call a lean mass hyper responder.
Hmm. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really qualify, all the descriptions I'm reading. I could be, but
Yeah.
my understanding is usually the HDL is much higher than mine, and the triglycerides are significantly lower if
Uh,
you're LMHR.
most of the clients that I work with on my website and they have been like to a functional doctor and have been diagnosed as a lean mass hyperresponder. A lot of them, their triglycerides are in the 60s and 70s because that could change
Okay.
from today to tomorrow. Like I could go in today and my triglycerides might read 33, which they do sometimes. And I can go
Hmm.
in 2 days later and my triglycerides will read in the 70s. So they're very transient. But just with your total cholesterol being up that high like that, that is a pretty good indicator of that. So, and it takes time. I mean, how long have you been carnivore?
2 years and I guess 4 months.
Perfect. Well,
So,
good, good.
That's not a
and, and it,
that's not a very long time. And speaking of not a very long time, look
right?
who it is, everybody.
Oh, cool.
Hello, everyone.
We
How are
have
you?
the good Dr. Nelson is in the building there. I guess we talked him up with all this medical talk. Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
What's his hat?
this is the segment of the program, ladies and gentlemen, where you might learn something. I apologize in advance for this.
No. Don't worry about it. Don't learn anything. Don't learn anything.
Sometimes it's just how it goes, folks. When you got all these smart people around here, you're gonna learn something. So now's the time. If you don't want to learn anything, take a break. I'm so sorry. Anyway, go ahead there, Doc. Did you have something you wanted to chip in with this conversation, or are you just hanging out?
No, I didn't hear the numbers, but the criteria for LMHR is LDL over 200, HDL over 80, and triglycerides under 70. I
Yeah.
did not hear what his numbers were.
Do you find, Dr. Nelson, do you find like that you see people's like triglycerides and even their like LDL, HDL being transient? Do you see much of a shift in people?
So if your diet is consistent, whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, if your diet is
Mhm, mhm,
consistent, those numbers are sort of consistent.
Okay.
Before I went keto and carnivore, my triglycerides were in the 300s. My HDL were never even close to 40, and my
Yeah.
LDL was a little high. But with those other two numbers, you already know.
Yeah.
With the diabetes, weight, high blood pressure, of course, I ended up having a stroke. But
Yeah. Yeah.
whenever I tell a patient, that probably the single item that whenever I tell a patient, your triglycerides are high, cut the carbs. If they did it, it always came down. I mean, there are some
Yeah.
rare problems with genetic familiar things with high triglycerides, but
Right.
those are rare. The truth is, it's
Yeah.
mostly diet. So if you cut the
Yeah.
sugars, the carbohydrates, your triglycerides come down, and your HDL, as a nice side effect, usually goes up.
Yeah, because I did an experiment with myself last year. I fasted for several days, water and salt, had my blood work done with a LabCorp lab. And then the day of my appointment with my doctor, I went down and had them run the exact same labs, and they were significantly different. I didn't fast for as long. I only fasted 10 hours and I did not do any extraneous exercise. The day that I went to the other one, I had actually ran 15 miles. And so, but it was massive difference. And my doctor, and it was the same lab. And my doctor's like, I don't know how to explain that,
Well,
because I've eaten this way for 6 years. So
yeah, if you
yeah,
listen to Dave Feldman,
hmm
he's gone through
he's very
times
good.
where he's doing cholesterol tests 5-6 times a day,
Yeah,
and they change as much as the blood sugar changes.
yeah,
That's why I say if your diet is consistent, then those numbers will be around the same numbers, but they can change with what you eat meal to meal, and he's demonstrated it. And of course, if you want to cheat a little and you don't want the cholesterol numbers to be too high, have some
Do
Oreo
some
cookies the day
carbs.
before.
Yep. Yeah. That was a pretty good thing that they did. That little study. That was good.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm not.
the,
I'm not. I'm not here to listen to you, Russ, and laugh a little.
He's
Well,
like,
I'll
no
see
more
what
that's why we're
questions.
all here.
I'll see what I can do. Carnivore
Oh,
Sensations his
wow.
life was 713 pounds, currently 204.8
Wow.
in 3 years from
That's
carnivore
amazing.
diet. I reversed kidney failure with the EGFR of 3, up now to 48. Reversed diabetic, A1C of 17, now 4.8. Survived
Wow.
Fournier's gangrene, all sorts of other things. God bless you, Carnivore Sensations. And
Wow.
yes, if you want to pop in here, you can go to my YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and everybody's YouTube channel, actually, like, subscribe, and then you can come on the show anytime you like. There's always a link in the
That's
chat.
amazing.
Every Tuesday at 8:30, we just come in, hang out. Anybody wants to pop
Those,
in, as
those
long as you're not
numbers
trolling.
are incredible.
Yes,
That's
And
why I
yes,
say my story is nothing.
yeah,
Yes, it
yours.
is. Your story is important too.
Yes,
all
everybody's
of
doing
your
this one.
stories are important. All of my story is
Yeah.
important. Not,
Yep.
I mean, these numbers I pale in
That's amazing.
comparison.
Yeah.
You have 500 pounds less in 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kidney failure.
That's
Now,
crazy.
if these numbers are correct, he was already in dialysis then, because a GFR of
Should have
3.
been. Yeah. Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so
That's
Yeah, that's
crazy.
those are
wonderful.
great.
Have you
I
ever seen
love
a A1C that high? I've only seen an A1C up to, I think, 15. I've never seen a 17. That is, whew.
So it depends on the lab machine and
Oh,
assay
yeah.
that you're doing in the
Yeah.
places, because few times I've worked in places where they do the A1C there. Usually, the maximum has been 15.5. So no, I haven't seen a
Hmm.
17. I'm sure there
Wow.
might be some machine that is able to measure that, but the few places
Right.
where I've had A1C that I can do in the office right away, 15.5 is the maximum. So I've seen 15.5 because it's the most that it could measure several
Right.
times.
Who knows how high? Right.
Yes,
And they
and
could have been
actually
higher, but
the
yeah.
measurement, the machine, what it says is high, which means it's more than
Yeah.
15.5, but we don't know how much.
Right.
Yeah, if your
Wow.
A1C
That's
is
amazing.
higher than your shoe size, folks, you got problems. Sandy
Yeah.
Blind says,
Amazing.
"Evening, all. Hello there, beloved. Good to see you. Oaktown Girl is here. Says, hey, everybody, loving the stories tonight. Thank you, beloved. Glad you're here." And Simpson echoes that, loves hearing the stories. Yes, we never get
That's
tired of
true.
hearing that. Sandy says, is this still live? No, Sandy, this is recorded. And
This is Memorex.
yeah, this is a recording, and somebody's stealing your car right now. Go look out the window. So Bob put yes. Carnivore Chan says this is a great crew, and yes, I can't believe it. I like to thank everyone for lowering their standards, except for Rick. He's definitely not lowering his standards. This is a step up for Rick.
I always ruin it.
Yeah, hey, listen. If he wasn't here, he'd be in the canal somewhere. So
going after iguanas. Yeah.
yeah. He had mud on his boots. Get Fit
I got
says,
some duck eggs on the weekend.
yeah. Get Fit
Oh,
says,
yeah.
good
Good.
afternoon. I guess they're on the other side of the world. What is the BF percentage needed for lean mass hyper responders? Thanks. Body fat percentage, I guess. Is that what they're saying?
I don't think they go by body mass by body fat percentage.
I don't think so.
I
They
thought lean
might.
mass hyper responders had to be thin people. It's
They
not
have
like
they're usually lean,
thin.
but the
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if just by saying lean is probably under 25. I'm not 100% sure.
So if
Yeah.
you're lean with a high cholesterol, you're a lean mass hyper. So that's me. What does that mean? I'm a fat mass hyper responder. It's because I got high cholesterol. I'm not lean.
Well, what are your triglycerides and HDL?
That is a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but I know my ratio was when I first started was 2.6, and at my last test it was under 2.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah, I
remember
think
the
yours was
number.
pretty good last time.
Yeah, but the
Well, it
definition
should be
is
less than 1. That's not good.
the definition
But
is
it's
Right.
over
coming down.
200 for LDL,
Yeah.
Right.
over 80 for the HDL, and under 70 for the triglycerides.
Well, they always told me, well, when I first started anyway, I guess it has changed. They told me the numbers weren't as important as the ratio.
But the definition of lean mass hyperresponder is
Oh.
based on those
The
Gotcha.
numbers.
on those numbers, the
Mhm.
HDL over 80,
Yeah.
the triglycerides under 70, with an
Right.
LDL over 200, and being lean, which I think is probably under 25.
Gotcha.
Can I say something here, Russ? It's getting kind of late for me, and
Oh.
I'm going to have to get out of here. But I would like to make a comment about something that somebody said just a little while ago.
I'm sorry. I take it back.
No. What Bruce said about my story is not important.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are 100% wrong.
I
That's right.
agree.
Everybody's story is important because some people are going to watch me and go, "Who is this old guy?" And they don't like me. But they see some beautiful young lady and say, "Now I can listen to her." Or they see a guy that has doctor in front of his name and says, "I can listen to that person." Or Russ, or nobody wants to listen to Rick anyway.
Although you don't have to.
But you never know.
Rick. Yeah, get your shots in on Rick while you can, everybody.
Oh yeah, but that's why I like Dave Mack's channel so much, because he interviews all of those people. You never know whose story is going to connect with somebody, so that they have that aha moment and say, "I can do this. If they can do this, I can do this." So
that's true.
Everybody needs to just keep telling their story to anybody and everybody, because you never know who's listening.
You're exactly
just like
right.
I had no idea Healthy Carnivore was watching my channel at all, let alone recommending people come watch me.
Right.
I'm a creeper.
But at this time,
go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
At this time, I am going to have to say good evening to everybody, because I'm going to have to start shutting things down here and get ready to crawl into that bed that's hiding behind the green screen there.
Gotcha. Well,
have a nice night, everybody. We'll see you next time, Rick.
Good night, Bob.
Good
to meet you officially.
Yeah. And I want to piggyback on that, because I learned that lesson as well. It's sometimes, Bruce, it's not your story. It's just who you are. You know, I've told this story 100 times. I mean, and I think everybody here has probably heard it, about Jeff DeProsperous, and you know how I was able to touch his life. And trust me, I don't want anybody. I am nobody's role model. I don't want anybody to be like me. I hope everybody's better than me. Please, Lord, please be better than me. I'm a good before picture, not so much of a good afterward. Okay, but I still would come out, do what I do, live how I live, share what I share, and just and Jeff told me that whenever he got sad or had a rough day and chemo, he came on the show and told me that him and his boys would sit around and watch the Reverend and laugh, and it just meant so much to him, man. And I made his, and I mean, and he asked me to do some of the Reverend. I couldn't do it. My eyes were welling up with tears, because I couldn't imagine someone with limited time, just spending 1 millisecond, watch me act a fool on this internet. It just blew me away that he would get his family together and do that. And so it taught me a lesson, that you just, man, sing your song. I say it all the time to people. Sing your song. It doesn't matter if people, if you're off key, doesn't matter. Just do what you do, be who you are, and you will touch people in ways you have no earthly idea. So yeah,
I
man,
agree.
don't ever, don't ever say or think that you can't affect someone, because it's just not true. So
Well,
um,
probably not, but there are so many
yeah,
people like yourself in this community that have gone through so much more than what I have, and I'm just dealing with trying to convince people I'm not about to die of a heart attack.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
everybody can look over somewhere and say, I mean, because when I listen, listen, for me, I've lost 60 pounds. I've kept it off. I've never done that in my life before, and
yeah,
another 950, and I'll be right where I want to be. But the, but
950. Where do
no,
you put that?
I weigh myself at the zoo. But
Okay, elephant cage.
but what I'm saying is that I have my struggles, I have my path. We all have our path, and I don't need to
Mhm.
look, I don't need to look over to the left or to the right. I don't. God bless those folks that have those great, stories and loss of million pounds. I'm
Hmm.
so happy for those people. I'm so excited for them, and I love to hear the stories. But like I said, you just share what you have to share. Everybody doesn't have the same thing to give. So I try to, bring my, just be funny and silly, make people laugh and smile. That's my contribution. Dr. Nelson has something different. Laura has something different. Give me a minute. I'll think
Yeah.
about what Rick's got. But
Yes.
You
Rick's
try
but
just a
hard.
character.
Yeah.
no, man, listen, Rick is my brother. He knows. Listen, he knows that he takes a joke as good as anybody. But Rick is an incredible human being, and it has an
Yep.
incredible story as well. I've interviewed Rick. He knows how I feel about him. That's my guy. But it's just a matter of, like I said, if God wanted us all to sound like Dr. Barry, we'd all be falling off tractors in backwoods Tennessee somewhere. That's the way I feel about it. It's just do what you do the way you do it. Share your story, your way, your style, your voice, and
Yep.
don't worry about the rest of it, man. It's not up to you.
Yep.
I encourage anybody to do it, everybody to do it.
I agree.
It's not a
I agree.
contest, at least not for me. For some people sometimes I think it is. But I'm not here to compete with anybody or out keto or out carnivore anybody, man. I just live my life and try to encourage and help others, whatever, by any means necessary.
And
Go
Russ,
ahead, Rick. I know. Go ahead, Rick. You owe me about 5 or 6 shots, man. You can feel free. It's an open fire, free fire zone. Just give me your best shot.
Rapid fire. Come on.
well, let me tell you, Russ is the most courageous person in the whole keto and carnivore community. And you know why? He's the only one that's met with me in person.
True.
That's
True.
right there. That is the top of the line. None of these other people have had the courage. They've been all over the country. But they will not come down here because
Hey,
they're afraid of
me,
reptiles and waterfowl, and I don't know what it is. I think they're afraid of my house. They figure they might come in here, get hit with mold and mildew, and go to the hospital, and I don't know what it is. They may trip over some junk and get tetanus, or I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
One of these days, I'm gonna go there. I have to take a step ladder with me, but I will.
right? Yeah,
My
that's
husband won't let me
definitely on my bucket
Florida.
list is to go see
Yeah.
is to go
Man,
to
listen,
Miami and meet Rick.
I was devastated I didn't get to see the killing fields. I couldn't stay, but
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you had to leave early.
yeah,
My
I had a
husband won't let me go to
dressing
Florida because he's afraid I won't come back to the state of Illinois.
thing.
It's true.
Listen, man,
It's true.
you've got to come down here for Hack Your Health this year, man, in Tampa in November. You got to do it, and you got to stop in Jacksonville on the way down and hang out a couple of days, and
Yeah,
on the way
As
down.
long as it's not deer season.
it used to
Oh
be.
yeah,
It used to be in Texas. Now it's in the
yeah,
other free state.
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah. So it's right in
yeah,
my backyard. But yeah, I hope because there's no Keto Palooza this year, of course. So
right.
hopefully
Yep.
you'll be able to do that. I think I had some comments. Simpson says, "Believe me, it would matter if you heard me sing. It isn't good. Although I'm better than my husband, who is singing Sky Each parts on a foggy day." That's funny.
That
Oh
is
my.
funny.
Good Fit says I'm female with LDL 240, HDL 108, triglycerides 64, 5'2", 30% body fat, still working loose. Sounds like I fit the criteria, but I'm not lean.
You're getting there.
But the triglyceride to HDL ratio is what,
They're great.
64, 108.
It's
So
almost
that's-
half.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Those are great.
I got a question
Okay.
for you. Can anyone guess my body fat percentage?
10.
Nope.
Maybe
Zero.
13, 14.
Yes, that's it. You got it.
Wow.
Wow.
That's really good.
Not
Yeah,
very much.
between 13 and 14%.
Wow.
Talk about a beanpole.
Yeah.
I only weigh between 190 and 200, so I'm very thin.
Yeah. That's my body fat in my earlobe right here. I got right there.
My right thigh.
50% body fat right here, brother.
When I was 26 years old, I think that was the last time I went to the doctor. They told me I had the highest cholesterol of anyone. No, I was 28. I was 28. It was in 96. The highest cholesterol he had ever seen in a 28-year-old. And I was supposed to have heart disease by my 50s. And I'll be 57 in 2 months. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And I never got fat.
Yeah.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. He is half man, half amazing, and all carnivore. Our brother, our friend, Mr. Rick Charles Mopar, who will be here next week, of course, with us, hopefully with all of you as well. And once again, we have fulfilled our contractual obligation to the family.
Did you see what your friend put in the chat? I mean,
What's that? Which
I
one?
think this is your close friend.
Oh, is it
Carnivore
somebody?
Chat.
Yes,
Yeah, I saw
okay.
that.
Listen, hey, I don't blame you, man. Listen, I want you to be better than me, man. You don't want to be like me. Be like some of these other great folks there, man. You know.
How's your
Hey,
dad?
my dad is good. He's he was sitting right next to me. He's in the other room now listening because he couldn't figure out how to watch the show on his phone. So I took a little minute and that.
Say hello.
And yes, I will definitely tell him. He could probably see you. He'll probably hear you say hello. We're still fighting. He's dad is dad, but listen, I got him eating some brisket and
Good.
stuff there. So yeah, he's kind of captive here right now. So, but he went out and bought a bunch of I mean, I can't
Duck food.
Yes, I'd like to keep him chained up in here, but I can't do that legally right now. Yeah, but one day.
Tell anyone about it, right?
One day,
you could do it.
Jenny is here. Okay. Yes, Jenny says, will you explain a little bit more about what's going on in Tampa in November? Sounds like something I come to. I'm glad you caught you guys tonight. I am too, beloved. There are a couple of events that a few events that I go to, but the largest ketogenic living event in the country is Hack Your Health. It used to be called KetoCon, and it is in Tampa, Florida in November. You can go to hackyourhealth.com, I believe, for tickets. I will be there. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, along with, I'm sure Doc Nelson will be there, and others. I think our man Rick's gonna find a way to get there. It's in his backyard, and it's great. There's also an event, Keto Orlando, Champions
right?
for Health. You'll be there probably at that one too, Doc.
I will.
Yeah, I'll be there at that one. That one is in July, maybe end of July.
No, the first week of August, I think it is.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Somewhere in the first week of August. That is in Orlando, Champions for Health, Keto Orlando. I think KetoOrlando.com probably is still an active. Champions for Health might be an active site. And if you email me, Janet, whatever, I'll make sure I get you get you in the right direction. But yes, they're wonderful events. Now, KetoCon or Hack Your Health is a mega event. Thousands of people there. I don't know what they have, 3,000 people last year or something. I don't know.
Mm.
They announced it. I can't remember.
Yeah, it
But
was big.
but now in Keto Orlando and Keto Palooza, which they're not having this year because it's normally the week before the Hack Your Health, so it's kind of conflicted this year. They're much smaller events. Keto Orlando is like 200, 250 people, or something like that, usually. Much more intimate. You have a lot more time with the speakers and with folks. KetoCon is, yeah, it's a mega event, and it's just a whole different vibe, but fun, cool, and everybody's there. So absolutely, if you want to go to one of those events, let me know. And of course, I would love to see you there. And usually, when we're out at these things, we end up at a Brazilian barbecue
Steakhouse.
somewhere. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, you can pretty
Love
much count on
steakhouse.
that. Yeah, so
Watch
please,
out. Watch
I'll
out.
point you in the right direction.
I know. We got to watch Rick.
Oh yeah, we gotta. I'm
Russ
still
knows
gonna
about
work
what
on
happens
it.
at a steakhouse when Rick is around.
Yeah, they kicked you guys out. I'm pretty sure.
Bankruptcy, yes,
Now,
yes.
did I hear correctly that Rick is going to come to Tampa for Hack Your Health?
We're working on that. We're working on. I would say that is gonna happen there. We're efforting that. So yes, I believe we're gonna make that happen. We're back channeling. So, we got to get my man there. He'll be a star. He'll be a rock star.
I think they'll all run in different directions.
Yeah, they want you to sign their ducks.
To get a picture with
There you go. I drive a Jeep.
Yeah.
I've got lots of them.
Well, the one good
All right,
thing is
folks.
I'm easy to find.
Yes.
Yeah, he's over there.
Yeah.
Look up.
We'll be like,
Yeah.
who's that guy?
Yes, there you go. And he wears an iguana skin cap, so you can't
Well,
with duck
I may
feathers
end
on
up with a raccoon cap.
it. Yeah. Shan says, yes, Hampton will be there. And yeah, tell him
yeah.
that, hey, you better have my money when I see him too. Tell him that, man. So anyway, all right, we got to end this thing, folks. As always, I'm so grateful and thankful you decided to spend Tuesday evening with all of us here, and we will be back next week on the Keto Cookout. Until then, keep your carbs low, your proteins and fats high. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.